Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a new set. We're going in complete order, so the set we're checking out today is Sun and Moon base set. It'll be a really quick, simple set to look at. And then we're going to be checking the best Pikachu cards in Pokemon history. And this video is going to be crazy. There's more Japanese exclusive Pikachu cards than there is probably all Japanese exclusive cards of all the other Pokemon. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. And we're also going to do a little tier list at the very end of like the best, alternate art, full art Pikachu cards. And we also have multiple giveaways going on. I'm going to be doing a giveaway every single day in all of December. So for today's giveaway in honor of Pikachu, we're giving away the Surfing, Flying, and Pikachu full art from Celebrations. And to be entered into this Pikachu giveaway, all you have to do is make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, you got to hit that like, and then I want you to answer the question of the day. So if we had to get rid of one of these Pokemon, which one would you choose, Pikachu or Charizard? Like, they just never existed. Let me know down below. And then we are doing a massive giveaway with Collectr. We are giving away a new Mega Charizard X SIR with a binder bound hoodie. So you guys can hop to my Instagram or Collectr's Instagram to be entered into that giveaway. And we will announce the winner next Wednesday. For the Pikachu giveaway, we'll announce it next Throwback Thursday, same with all the other giveaways this month. We do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Ponchos Gaming. This is the best game store in all of Minnesota. I've actually been in them all. They have the best variety, and they're doing their own card shows now like every other month. So definitely check them out. They're only located 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities, and they always sell their stuff for MSRP on new set releases. So definitely check them out. And then also, if you're going to grade through PSA for your very first time, you can click my link and use the code BEARD25 to receive $25 off, which is basically a free graded card. All right, Sun and Moon base set. February 3rd, 2017, 149 cards plus 14 secret rares. And again, I just want to apologize for my voice. I know it sounds super stuffed up. But yeah, Sun and Moon base set. Doesn't have a ton. We got full arts and rainbows. It does have the Espeon and the Umbreon. So that is pretty cool. We got them in full art and rainbow. And then for the golds, just like the Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, Rotom, Dex, and Switch. So honestly, nothing crazy for Sun and Moon base set. And of course, the Umbreon Rainbow is the most expensive, followed by the Lily. Sun and Moon era has a lot of really good full arts that are worth a lot of money. And then we got the regular full art Umbreon. And the Rainbow Umbreon says raw $93, the full art $42, Lily's $50, and Espeon Rainbow is $39. All right, we'll check some PSA 10 sales here. We got the Umbreon GX Rainbow, last sold in a 10, 601, 770. One high sale here at $1,300. Otherwise, the rest, 620, 700, 760. Here's the full art, last sold in a 10, 349, 275, 310. And then here's the Lily full art, last sold in a 10, 350, 247. And the Espeon GX Rainbow, last sold in a 10, 400, 250. And a couple sales at like 300 to 350. And here's the full art. Last sold in a 10, 256, 194, 250. And the Lapras GX. And here's the thing about all these cards. They have really low pop reports. So they're pretty tough to grade in a 10, to be honest. So they're somewhat affordable. So we got the Rainbow Lapras here, 194, 255, 140. We would have one here at $106. And here's the full art. Last sold 149, 134, 130. And then we have the Sun and Moon Booster Pack. Very affordable still. Last sold 17, 17, 15, 13. And then we have two different ETBs for the Sun and Moon base set. These got a massive restock like towards the end of the Sword and Shield era. So these are some of the cheapest Sun and Moon ETBs, but still worth a decent amount of money. Last sold for the Lunala, 175, 179. And then we have the Solgaleo one here, purple and orange. Last sold 175, 180, so about the same price. And here's the booster box for a set that is not very good. Last sold $950, $935, $925, and $1,000. We do have one with the tear at $700. All right, we are getting into the Pikachu cards. So I literally could not check every Pikachu card because, like I said, when it comes to the Japanese exclusives, it's actually insane. So we're going to be mostly, highlighting the English cards. We are going to scroll through a bunch of Japanese cards and the Chinese cards. And then we're going to also have those in the tier list. But here's all of our modern cards. There's a couple mid-era and vintage cards thrown in here too. But so we've gotten so many reprints also with Pikachu. It's kind of crazy. But of course, for our modern cards, we got our trainer galleries, the Pikachu V, Pikachu V Max. We got our gold Pikachu EX from Surging Sparks. And then this gold full art here, this is from the Celebrations UPC. So we've gotten a ton of really good Pikachu cards lately. And then even like the Pikachu Pokemon Center How They Evolve promo, you know, it's a $130 card. Then of course our Rainbow Pikachu VMAX from Surging Sparks. We do have the special delivery Pikachu card. This is a Sword and Shield promo. Very expensive. Marcus is $268. And then we have our Surging Sparks EX SIR. People were kind of mixed on this. They didn't love the crown. They didn't love the pose. They felt like the background was kind of plain. And then, of course, our Pikachu's Gray Felt Hat. This is the most graded card in Pokemon history, more than the Unlimited base set Charizard. And then we have our Stamp Pikachu here. And this is one of the most popular cards in Pokemon history. And we'll check out some more of these Japanese exclusives in a bit. Just kind of highlighting some of these more modern cards that we all know about. You know, we got our Baby Shiny Pikachu. That's a $30 card. Our Pikachu Crown Zenith card. I love how many different Pokemon are in there. I do wish there was a couple cooler Pokemon in there, but still, it's stacked. Now we got the other Crown Zenith Pikachu. Now remember, in Japanese, this card is very, very expensive because you have to pull a God Pack to get this card. So our card, $20. Their card, I think, is like 100 something. And we got our Sleepy Pikachu, more Trainer Gallery cards. You know, we got our Black or Gold VMAX Secret Rare. We got a couple very nice promos. I love the promos like this where you get like all three starters. These really remind me of like Festa Pikachu cards, which we're going to be talking about here in a minute. And then Pikachu's just gotten so many like random holos and stuff and promos that are, you know, ranging from a couple dollars to $20. I'm a big fan of the Big V Union card. There's 4 of these. It makes one big picture and it's got the most Pikachus ever on one card. Massive fan of that for sure. And then, of course, we do have our brand new Pikachu that just got revealed. Selling for around $200 to $250 on eBay. This is from the new Mega Dreams set. This will be in our Ascending Heroes set. And it's one of the most expensive cards in the set for the Japanese side. But it does look a lot like our full arts. There's really nothing going on in the background. But all right, we are going to be checking out some cards here, kind of going from newest to oldest. So we got the Sun and Moon team-up cards. There's 3 different versions. We got a Rainbow. We got the full art. And we have the Gold promo. So a pretty cool little trio there. Last sold for the Rainbow in a 10, $550. We got a 9 at $177. And raw ranges from literally $70 all the way up to about $150, $200. You know, people trying to chase that 10. Next, the full art. Last sold in a 10, $419, $315. Raw, $45, $75, $90. And here's the promo. Last sold raw, you know, $10, $15, $20. $45. We got a 9 at $72, a 10 at $160. Now, these cards are pretty tough to grade. So this is the promo. That's why there's 4,600 of them in a 10, 4,300 in a 9, 1,300 in an 8. But the other cards, there's only 796 in a 10, 456 in a 9. So not even very many of them graded. And here is our actual textured Pikachu tag team here with Zekrom. This is also a promo. That's why it has a higher pop. 4,100 in a 10, 3,800 in a 9. Last sold raw, $185, $195. This card used to be like $10, $15. And we got a PSA 9 at $193 and a 10 at $810 and $767. All of the tag team promos were dirt cheap. Next, we have the actual Pikachu and Zekrom tag team that you have to pull. This one is non-textured, but it does come from Team Up. Kind of tough to grade, 2,300 in a 10, 2,700 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, 202. We got a 9 at 72 and raw, 45, 39, 31. Still somewhat affordable. Next, one of my favorite cards here, we got the Pikachu Secret Rare from Cosmic Eclipse. I mean, just that scene, it's like the closest thing we're getting to like Ash and Pikachu kinda. This card is tough to grade. 3,600 in a 10, 7,100 in a 9, 1,900 in an 8. Last sold raw, 90, 157, 125, 110. We got a 10 at 775 and another 10 at 687. I almost feel like it should be worth a little bit more than that. And we got a bunch of these I Choose You cards. I just put them all up here so you guys can see them all together. This would make a fun little collection. Looks like there's 7 of them. And we will see how much they are in a PSA 10. Last sold in a 10. Of course, there's going to be no sales for this one on here, but it says 308 up there. Pretty tough to grade, 142 in a 10, 430 in a 9. But still, even collecting those raw would be pretty sweet. Next, this comes in a Team Up blister pack. So it's a very rare promo. This is the Sun and Moon Mimikyu promo. There's only 1,644 in a 10, 3,330 in a 9, so very tough to grade. Last sold in a 10, 900, 889, and then raw 156, 83, and $89. Next, one of my favorites too, the X and Y promo. This has Electabuzz and Jolteon in the background, lightning all over. Very, very tough to grade. 58 of these in a 10 and 584 in a 9. Last sold raw 175, 385, 185, 285. You know, people are chasing that 10, and the most recent it says on here is 1,749, but I have a feeling it's worth more than that. Next, we have the Generations Radiant Collection Pikachu. I love how there's, 4 Pikachus in there. The little charms on the side. Like, this is one of the most adorable cards. This is a card you definitely got to show, the wife, the girlfriend, all that. They're going to absolutely love this card. Again, ridiculously tough to grade. 443 in a 10, 2,215 in a 9. And last sold in a 10 is $2,010. And raw, 50, 40, 63, 100 for on the higher end, chasing that 10. Next, we have the XY95 promo. This is the promo with Sylveon in there. There's only 31 in a 10, 115 in a 9. And last sold raw, 43, 25, 70, and a PSA 9 for 350. But yeah, if anybody is trying to collect every Pikachu card, I strongly suggest you don't do that unless you are actually rich, because you will never, ever complete it. I promise you, you will not complete it unless you literally have a ton of money, because there's so many expensive Pikachu cards now. It's crazy. Next, we got some Delta Species Pikachus. We actually got 4 of them. Let me know down below your guys' favorite Delta Species card. Let's see, if I had to choose one. Man, I'm kind of liking this one here. This is the Black Star promo, number 35. Like that holo. So here is the Legend Maker Delta Species card. This has only 79 in a 10, 316 in a 9. There's so many Pikachu cards with ridiculously tough pull rates. Last sold in a 10 is $5,000. We got a 9 at $299 and $260, and raw $112.99. But that's what I'm saying. I would almost rather have some of these cards, even in like a PSA 9, than some of these modern cards that, every single person has that card in their case. Like, it's not rare at all. At least with this stuff, it's very unique. It's different. You can almost guarantee you go to a show, even with the 9, there's only 316 in the world. It's almost guaranteed there's not going to be another one of those at the show at all, especially if you do get the 10, but that's expensive. Next, we have the Black Star promo. This is number 35, Delta Species. Pops is 0. So, yeah. Last sold raw, 61, 110, 140. And next, we got the Holland Phantoms Delta Species. I love the stamps on those cards. This has a pop of 6 in a 10. Last sold raw, 86, 100. We do have a 9 at 450. It does say we had a 10 sale at 1,549, but I can guarantee it's way higher than that now. Next, we have the Pop Series 5 Delta Species. I do like how he's just chilling against that tree. Has a pop of 32 in a 10, 108 in a 9. And last sold raw, 5, 22, 20. We got a PSA 9 at $50. Next, we have the Pikachu Emerald Reverse Holo. There's also a Pikachu San Diego Comic-Con of the same exact art. Both are very expensive. Last sold raw for this one, $70. We got a PSA 9 at $585 and a 10 at $3,122. We do have more raw sales here at $135, $85, depending on condition. Only 28 of these in a 10. Next, we have the San Diego Comic-Con one. Says there's no 10s. We got a couple sales here in a 9 at $550. And then we got a raw at $330, but this card does not sell very often at all. Next, we have another promo. It's called Pikachu on the Ball, kind of unique. Last sold in a 10, 348. And raw, we got 110.52 and a 9 at 120. Next, we have the Black and White Secret Rare Pikachu. This picture does not do justice. There's a super cool lightning bolt in the bottom of the card. 210 and a 10, 436 and a 9. Last sold in a 10 is $2,000. Before that was $1,100. And raw, you can get this card for $64, $50, $44. But I feel like the only way to make it actually doable for you guys to collect every Pikachu card is if you did every English Pikachu card. That is somewhat doable, but I'm telling you, wait till we get to these Japanese exclusives. It's crazy. Next, we have another Pikachu promo, DP16. I just love this card. I love how he's looking down at the Pikachu. It's super, super unique. I think there is another card that connects with this also. Last sold raw, 6, 35, 25, 20. No PSA 9 or 10 sales at all. Next, we have the Pikachu Rumble card. Love how unique these are. Only 21 in a 10. Last sold raw 100. We got one at 570. Otherwise, we got a 9 at 1300, 1100, and 1150. Next, the Gold Star Pikachu. So this is one of the GOATs for all Pikachu cards. It says 119 in a 10, 435 in a 9, 309 in an 8. Last sold raw 2200. We got a 9 at $11,000. Yes, I said that correctly. And we have a PSA 10 here at $13,000. And that was a couple months ago. But yeah, this card is so expensive. Raw, we got another sale here at $1,500, $1,775, $2,500, $500. Super rough shape, it says. But yeah, this is definitely one of the GOATs for all Pikachu cards. Next, we have the Pikachu Reverse Holo from Skyridge. So this only has 43 in a 10. Last sold raw 258, 199, 139. And we got a 9 at 426, 499, 350. We do have a 10 sale here at $1,000. Next, we have the Pikachu Reverse Holo from Expedition. Love this card also. It's so cute. Only 19 of them in a 10. Last sold raw 49, 25. We got a 9 at 280, 275, and a 10 at $3,111. Next, we have some of the original Wizards of the Coast promos. This is number 26. Last sold raw 39.53. We got a PSA 9 at 140. And I got no PSA 10 sales. It does say 208, but I guarantee it's worth way more than that. Next, we have another Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo. He has a bunch of these. It's one of my favorite ones. This is my favorite shape for Pikachu. We've got a few different Pikachu shapes throughout the years. This is my favorite one. I don't know why. I just think it's the cutest. But last sold raw 1520, PSA 9 at 65, and it says we do have a PSA 10 sale here at 605 on eBay. Next, another Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo. This says 366 at a 10. This is literally like a $5 to $15 card. They call it like the Ivy Pikachu card. We do have a PSA 10 sale here at 385, but I'm not sure when that was. Next, we have the Flying Pikachus. I'm sure you guys have heard of this card, but there's a few different kinds. So our original one is the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo. And then we got our Rising Rivals one, which is the most expensive. And then, because it's actually the rarest. Then we got our Evolutions ones, same exact art. But then at least with Celebrations, they did, change it up a bit. And we got a modern version of it. And then we got the VMAX version of it, which has a lot more balloons. So pretty cool. And here's the Rising Rivals card. There's only 11 of them in a 10. Last sold raw 60, 80, 31. We got a PSA 9 at 306. And then here's the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo. Has a pop of 378 in a 10. We do have a PSA 10 still here at 615. Otherwise raw. It's like a $30 to $45 card, to be honest. Next, Surfing Pikachu. Same exact thing. Pretty much same exact sets too. Rising Rivals, Black Star promo, and then Celebrations and Evolutions. So here is the Platinum Rising Rivals one. Last sold raw 100, 50, 90, 200. We got an 8 at 127 and a 9 at 470. And here is the Black Star promo. Much higher pop, 1200 in a 10, 2600 in a 9. So still pretty tough to grade. Last sold raw is more like a $15 to $25 card. And it says we do have a PSA 10 sale at 377, but might be a little higher than that now. Next, the Birthday Pikachu. We also got this reprinted for Celebrations. And it's crazy. The original Wizard of the Coast one looks so much better than the reprint. Normally they try to spruce up the reprint, but I have both of these, and this one looks so much better. There's only 147 in a 10, 1,961 in a 9, 2,561 in a 8, 1,273 in a 7. So this is definitely one of the toughest cards to grade that we have seen today. So last sold raw 122, 127, 173, 225. It's crazy. I remember this card being like a $10, $15 card. We do have a PSA 9 at 460, and we do have a 10 down here at 910, but that was a few months ago. Next, we have the first edition Lieutenant Surge's Pikachu. There is an unlimited version. These cards are pretty cheap. 20, 25, 10, 15. We got a 9 at 35, and we do have a 10 here at $299. Next, we have the Lieutenant Surge's Pikachu. These are some of my favorite cards, though. I just love how, these are some of the first cards of Pikachu. We got first edition. Pretty much same exact price for this card also. Next, we have the first edition Jungle Pikachu. There is also an unlimited one. Last sold for this, 600, 545, 685. And then we got Rot 9, 5, 20. So keep your eye out. A lot of these vintage commons, if they are super clean and they're getting 9s and 10s, they are worth a good amount of money for sure. I mean, this has 3,200 in a 10, 6,400 in a 9, 3,300 in a 8. It's still selling for $500-$600. Next, we have the Reverse Holo Legendary Collection, same exact art. There is also another version of this with a W on it, but there's like no info out there or recent sales. But this card has a pop of 35 and a 10, last sold raw 383, 627. We got a PSA 9 at 2,750. Wow. I'm so happy I finished my Legendary Collection in like 2017. All right, now we are getting to the OG Pikachu, the original Chunkachu. So we got the base set unlimited. So as you guys can tell, there's a shadow here. There's no first edition stamp. There's no first edition stamp, so this is the unlimited version. Last sold raw. It's literally a couple dollar card, $2 to $5. We got a PSA 10 at 207. And it is tough to grade, 3,059 in the 10, 6,100 in the 9. But that's what I'm saying. You can get some cool cards like History, $207. I mean, that's getting you like a low-end special illustration rare almost. Next, we have the base set 2. You know, same exact card, but it's got the 2 there. And prices are around the same, to be honest. This one's actually a little bit cheaper. We do have a 10 sale here at 142. And then we have the Pikachu Poke Tour. There's like 15 different versions of this card. This is also the same card that we got for our Celebrations Metal card on the first page. Same exact art. You know, it's the base set art. So they do like to reprint this one a ton. So here's that Poke Tour. Last sold raw 117, 157. We got a PSA 9 at 1,045. Before that, it was 522, which is crazy. Yeah, that's quite the jump. Wow. And do we have any 10 sales? We do have one at $1,100, but that was a few months ago. It says we do have one on eBay at $1,750. Now here is our E3 Pikachu. It's a Red Cheeks one. It says a pop of 836 at a 10, 2,300 in a 9, 2,100 in an 8. Last sold raw 33, 36. PSA 10 at $1,200 and a couple of 9s at 150 and 205. Now here is the secret rare from Rising Rivals. So this is the same set that had the Surfing and Flying Pikachu, but at least with this one, they did change it up a little bit. You know, they kind of modernized it a little bit, even though I like the OG one a lot better. Let me know down below which one you guys like better. Last sold raw 60, 73, 129. We got a PSA 9 at 587. This is a secret rare, so very tough to pull. And we do have a PSA 10 here up at $3,300. Next, we have the Shadowless Pikachu Yellow Cheeks. There is a Yellow Cheeks version and a Red Cheeks. So I got them right here for the first editions. So definitely keep your eye out for that. So here's the Yellow Cheeks Shadowless. Last sold in a 10, 243. Honestly, I feel like that's really not bad at all. We got a 9 at 81, raw at 13, 11, and 20. And here is the first edition base set Shadowless. So some of the most expensive Pikachu cards. And pretty tough to grade, 549 in a 10, 1100 in a 9. Last sold raw 135, 104. We got a 9 at 500, a 10 at $2,300. Before that, we had 2 10 sales at $2,300. This is for the Yellow Cheeks. Now here is for the Red Cheeks. A little bit lower pop, 259 in a 10, 1163 in a 9. And last sold raw 132, 350, 250. We got a 9 at $1,200 and $1,000. And we do have a 10 sale here at $6,651 compared to the Yellow Cheeks 10 sale at $3,000. So Red Cheeks all the way. All right, next we are getting to the Japanese exclusives, and this is what I'm talking about. There is just so many expensive Pikachu cards on the Japanese exclusive side. It's crazy. I wanted to like take a deep dive, but we're just going to click on some of the most popular ones. But right now we're just going to enjoy some of these cards and scroll through here. So we got our Ponchos, of course, and then we have our Festa Pikachu cards. I like the Festa cards a little bit more than the Ponchos just because the Poncho is basically the same style, just standing there with a different hood on. So not my favorite. You know, I even like the Mario and Luigi more than the Ponchos. And they do have half Ponchos also down here. So these are also kind of cool. But yeah, like I said, my favorites are definitely like the Festa Pikachus. And these are the coolest. And then, yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know anybody that has every single Japanese exclusive Pikachu because there is just so many. It's crazy. And by the way, if you ever see a new Pikachu come out and it's got like a word before Pikachu, like this one, Warm Pikachu, Cosplay Pikachu, you know, something Pikachu, and it's cheap and a Japanese exclusive, I highly recommend just buying it right away because we literally have 1,000 cases of it all going up in price. So we'll go to the next page and then we'll start clicking on some cards here. Like we got the Gentle Manly Pikachu, Pretend Boss Pikachu, Cherry Blossom Afro Pikachu. These are all $200-$300 cards that were originally very, very affordable. You know, we got a ton of these Warm Pikachus. These are some of the best snow cards. This is one of my favorite cards right here. This is the Junior Rally card. I collect these. There's like 6 of them or 8 of them. I can never remember, but I got to pull them out. They all make a picture if you connect them together, and it's super popular Pokemon, Mewtwo, Entei, stuff like that. So these are some of my all-time favorites. Then, of course, Pikachu got that Master Ball for $151. And yeah, I was right, $100 for that raw card for V-Star Universe because you got to pull it in that actual God Pack. All right, and then here's their 25th anniversary. I actually liked what they did better than what we got with the big Pikachu face on there, and the border just looks cool. All right, we are going to jump to that first page. We are going to click on the Charizard Poncho wearing Pikachu. This is the Mega Charizard X. So these kind of have a pretty high pop, not super tough to grade. 2,154 in a 10, 402 in a 9. Not super high, but last sold in a 10, $11,677. And then raw, 6,500, PSA 9 at 5,600, and we got another 10 here at 10,100. We do have a high down here at 17,599, and that was a couple months ago. I think some of these cards are coming down in price, and we will check on one of these Festa Pikachus here. So this one has Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. Just a crazy, crazy card. And this is the exact reason why I'm such a big fan of like these newer Pikachu cards where we got all 3 starters in one card. I mean, there's really no difference. I mean, that's why I just like these cards so much. They remind me so much of the Festa Pikachus. But last sold for this one raw, $3,275. We got a 10 at $14,900. We got raw at $5K. Another 10 at $15,000. Another 10 at $19,000. So just so expensive. All right, we will check on, I'm going to do the Mario Pikachu card. At least this one, you know, a little different. They're giving us a little bit of a scenery. You know, it's a collab. And a little bit tougher to grade, 2,000 in a 10, 1,000 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, $16,000, $19,000, $13,600. We got a 9 at 52, 61, and raw at $1,400. Pretty much everybody grades these cards. All right, now we will check out some of these half arts here. So here is a Luigi Pikachu half art. Last sold in a 9, $2,200. We got a 10 at $3,450. Bunch between like $3K to $3,500 for that 10. And check a couple more here. So here's another Festa card. I also wanted to check this Poncho wearing Pikachu where it actually has multiple Ponchos in one card. That card's kind of crazy. So we got a sale here at $835, and a 10 at $5,000. But that was like 4 months ago. Super cool, unique card though. But yeah, there's a ton of the half art Poncho wearing Pikachu cards that you guys can pick up. We'll click on another one here. We'll just do that one. So we have the Alolan Vulpix here. Last sold in a 9, $610. We got a 10 at $1,275, $1,526, $1,400. So if you guys do want to get some of these Poncho cards, I mean, the half arts are probably the way to go if you guys, you know, want to save some money. So yeah, the Festas are definitely my favorite. I also like this Vending Machine Series 3 card. That card is just crazy. I mean, it's just so unique. I also love the black and white promo. That thing is insane. I had that card in like lightly played condition back in the day. I ended up trading it for a Shadowless Charizard though. I also love the McDonald's Japanese exclusive Pikachu here. I mean, this one blows the new one that we just got out of the water. It's not even close. And then here is that Growlithe. This card was cheap. I think we got ours in a PSA 10 for $40. And I think now it's selling for $260, $248. It got up to $469. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. This card was so cheap. Let's click the all time here. So yeah, down here, PSA 10, $54. Oh, and then I almost forgot about the Chinese cards too. We have the new Chinese exclusives. They also do have a Chinese, kind of like a Festa Pikachu card, but it's a Chinese card. We'll be checking that in the tier list. And then there is also the Captain Pikachu. So I think some of these cards are crazy. I mean, look at all these Pikachus in here. We got a Vulpix, Cubone. This one has Gengar. This one has Dragonite. This one has Mew. I mean, that's just crazy. And we'll check some recent sales here. Here's a Gengar in a 10, $1,500. We got a Black Label Beckett. Wow. Gengar at 6,100. Another Gengar at 15. We got a raw one at 555. So here's some of the Mew ones. No idea what grading company this is, but it's selling for $401 in a 10. Here's the Gather Pikachu one in a 10 for $760. Another one $735. Looking for the Psyduck one here at $725 in a 10. But that is about it. All right, here's the tier list. So like I said, we're just kind of doing the full arts, like alternate art type cards, because otherwise this would be a 5-hour long video. And I'm going to skip these three. They were just already on here, but it's just basic VMAXs. So all right, we're going to start from the bottom and go to the top. And this is going to be a mix of English and Japanese because of the Japanese exclusives. So we're starting off with like the gold and rainbow cards. And of course, I'm going to move a lot of this stuff around. As you guys know, I've done many tier lists. I just did a big tier list. You guys should definitely go check that out when I ranked literally every single set in the Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, and Mega Evolution. It was a pretty fun video. But all right, since I know there's going to be alternate arts and stuff, I mean, these literally have to go down in decent. I'm definitely going to put these ones in worst, because I'm not a big fan of the crown. I think I'm okay with that. Next, we have that brand new Pikachu. This is from Mega Dream. I'm going to put that in good. And then we're getting to the Chinese exclusive. So here's that Captain Pikachu. I'm not the biggest fan of that card specifically, so I'm just going to put that in good for now. But here is the 4 Chinese ones that I love. I do wish they had texture, but I'm going to put them up in great. I might even have to add a whole nother tier. I'm not sure yet. And I am going to pick my favorite of these 4 too in a bit. Next, we have the Pikachu EX from Surging Sparks. Honestly, not a lot of people's favorite. Not my favorite. It's not bad. So I'm going to put that in good. Next, we have the 151 Pikachu card. I love this card. There's more Gen 1 Pokemon in this card than any card in Pokemon history. I'm going to put that up in best. I wish it was textured, but still. Next, we have the Detective Pikachu with the Growlithe. This card is pretty sweet, but it is very, very common technically. There's thousands and thousands of these. So I'm going to put that in good for now. Now, here's the Pikachu with gray felt hat. Now, I do like how this is kind of like history, how it's kind of based off like a famous, artist and stuff. Same with like the Scream Pikachu. So I think that is cool. But like I said, it's very common. Kind of a simple background. I'm going to put that in good. Next, we have the Sleeping Pikachu Trainer Gallery. This card is absolutely adorable. I'm going to put this in great. Next, we have the Pikachu V card. This is another Trainer Gallery card. This card is textured. One of my all-time favorites. And then there is a VMAX version. I'm not the biggest fan of the VMAX version, especially compared to the V. I think the V is just so clean. Next, we have the Crown Zenith Secret Rare. These are some of my favorite Pikachu cards because, like I said, reminds me of the Festa Pikachu. All right, now here's the Crown Zenith one also. This is the one that connects with the other cards. I think this card is pretty adorable. I'm going to put it in good for now. Next, we have the World Championship 2023 promo. I was a massive fan of this card. I think we got it for like $80 in a PSA 10. That was worth a ton more. Like the lightning bolts textured on there has a super nice stamp. Pretty much one of my favorite modern Pikachu cards. I'm going to put this up in the best. Next, we have those promos that I was talking about where they're, with the other Pokemon like that, especially the ones with the starters. So these are absolutely adorable. I'm going to put this one, since it doesn't have all 3 starters, I'm going to put this one in good. And I'm going to put the other 2 in great. Next, we have the Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team promo. This one is textured. I feel like it's a little messy. Like if you're looking at the card a little far away. I feel like it could have been better, but I mean, Pikachu riding on top of Zekrom is crazy. I'm going to put that in great for now. And here's the non-textured one from Team Up that you actually have to pull. This one's a little more plain, so I'm going to put that in good. Next is the Pikachu Stamp Box card. Another very, very unique card. I'm going to put that up in great. Next, I'm going to put both of these cards up in the best. This one is a Japanese exclusive, the Red's Pikachu, but this one is a secret rare from Cosmic Eclipse. Love these cards. Just feel so nostalgic. Next, we have the XY Black Star promo. I love how mean Pikachu looks with the Jolteon and Electabuzz. I'm definitely going to put that up in best. And next we have the Generations Pikachu Radiant Collection. I do love how there's 4 of these. Super cute. I'm going to put that in great. All right, now we're getting to the Japanese exclusives, and this is where it's going to get tough. So I'm going to jump around, and I'm going to put the Scream Pikachu up in best because I love that card. And I love how there's an Eevee in the background of that card too. But that, to me, is history. And then I'm going to put all the Festas up in best for sure, because these cards are insane, all of them. And then I also almost forgot about the Chinese exclusive. This is kind of like a Festa, like I was mentioning before. This is the Chinese 5th anniversary card. You can tell it's got the new Charizard with the crown on there. It's got Mew. I mean, this card is crazy. So I'm going to put that up in the best. All right. Now, the Ponchos, like I said, they're not my favorite, especially compared to the Festas. But they are cool. But I mean, art-wise, I almost want to put them in good, because it's literally the same pose with just a different one on there. I just feel like they're a little bit overrated. I know I'm going to get a little bit of hate for that. So I'm going to put these in good. All of them. I do think the Mario and Luigi is a little cooler. Especially, we do not get a lot of collabs in Pokemon where they collab with like other entities and stuff. So that's pretty rare. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get some hate. I do think the Pikachu, Charizard Y, and Charizard X are the best, just because, I mean, it looks like they're actually doing a little bit different poses kind of too, especially with the Mega Charizard X. And then we do have this full art exclusive also. I do love it, but I mean, it's tough to compete against these other cards where the art is just crazy. And now we have the Mario and Luigi. I almost want to put these in the best, just because, I mean, they're so cool in the collab. I think I'm going to put them up there for now. Like I said, we're going to skip these 3 down here. There's kind of regular promos. But all right, let me take a look at this. Let me think. I might add another tier to it also. I think I am going to put the Gengar Chinese exclusive Pikachu up in the best. I think that is the best one out of all 4. It's super close. I do love this one with all the Pikachus in there. But just having Gengar in there, he's so popular. And he's like scaring Pikachu. I just think it's such a crazy card. This is honestly super tough. Let me actually add one more row above, so then I could pick my all-time favorite ones. It's just so tough because there's, I mean, so many awesome cards. So we'll do this as best, and we'll do this one as, what is between best and great? Amazing? I don't know. Might change that. But let's see if we can pick our favorite ones. It's tough not to put the 151 up there just because it has so many Generation 1 Pokemon in there. But again, it is not textured. So I'm definitely just going to do my favorite. So the Festa, where we have Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, it really cannot be beat. Like, it really cannot. I'm also going to put the XY promo on here just because this is the meanest Pikachu we've ever gotten. I'm also going to put the Scream Pikachu up there. All right, what else do we got here? I'm going to put the Mario up there. Man, this is tough. This is tough for sure. I want to put one of these modern cards up here. Because, I mean, even in this 151, there's a Gengar in here. There's a Blastoise in here. There's like 15 Generation 1 Pokemon just in this card. And I have not heard on any other channels anyone ever talk about it. In my opinion, this should be the most expensive illustration rare in 151, hands down. I almost want to put this Pikachu up here with the Miraidon and Koraidon just because the texture is crazy. The World Championship stamp is insane. Like, even just the lightning here is textured differently than the rest of the card. So it's wild. The Red's Pikachu is sick. Man, this is so tough. I wish I would not have added another tier. I'm doing it. I'm going to put the 151 up there. I think this one is slightly better than even the Chinese exclusive. And then for our textured modern card, I'm doing it. I'm putting the World Championship up there. You guys can say whatever. I'm telling you, once you guys see this card in person, I promise you will understand. And then between the two, like, Reds Pikachus here, Cosmic Eclipse is cool, but I like the Reds one better just because, you know, it is a Japanese exclusive. They're kind of like an action scene. So yeah, I think that's what I am going with. And again, definitely check my comments because I will probably change some stuff and I will let you guys know in the comments if I do change anything. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. If you guys like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment, especially if you want to be entered into this giveaway. And then too, let me know down below what you guys want to see, because once we get done with Sun and Moon, you know, I can start back over and do base set and we'll go through all the sets again, or I can do something else. Just let me know what you guys want to see for our upcoming Throwback Thursdays. And again, I really appreciate everybody who watches these videos. These are my worst performing videos, but these videos actually mean the most to me. One of my favorite things is when I show someone a card that they never knew existed, and it's now one of their favorite cards. So I love doing that. And then, of course, make sure you guys check the link for that Instagram giveaway with Collectr. That thing is going to be crazy. And then if you guys want to support more, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that. YouTube membership is only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys could do me a massive favor and watch my last vending video, I would really appreciate it. It's my best vending video yet. Click that video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.